In that spirit, let's move swiftly on and let's go to our game of the week, which was Ninko's goodbye in the battle for the top six. Look, Robbie Thompson put it quite nicely before the game. It was a final in all but name itself. Christian, the winner, if there were to be one, would be in the driving seat for sixth place, which is the only spot still up for grabs. It was to be Melbourne City in the end to take advantage and now have a 2-point advantage going into the final round. And City, as we said last week, they're this team that can turn it on when they need to.
Intensity and energy sort of, mirrored the stakes that are on the line, which was obviously great for the spectacle, but focusing a bit on the Wanderers, they're just really frustrating at times because, you could see, what they were trying to do, switching the ball, using the flanks of Pires and Kittle, but the play broke down way too often in crucial moments, which is where I probably would have started Ninkovic in this game, who we'll touch on soon. But just because of the key absences of Barello and Milanovic, I think they never seemed to overly be threatening in front of the City goal. And then, there were a few sloppy passages of play, I thought, coming out of the back once City started to ramp up their pressure and pressed up the field a lot. So, but some matches you need that extra ounce of quality, and that was the case for the goals that City scored. They were both right in the top draw, especially Natal with the touch and the cutting with the right foot. Just brilliant skill and technique. And towards the end you got Eunice as well. Great story. Header at the back post. Obviously, we spoke about him a bit last week. The criticism he got from Marco Rudan, who Rudan admittedly said during the week that that's sort of not his personality, so to speak. He wouldn't normally say that, which I thought a bit weird anyway. Just why he said it, I've got no clue still to this day. But City essentially, they always look the better team, really. Deserve the 3 points, and I think the result's really no surprise to anyone.
Let's jump on a couple of other individuals you mentioned there. Leo Natel Paletti is someone we haven't really talked about, to be honest. As Christian said, a brilliant goal for the opener there. That makes it 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 5, keeping in mind that 2 of each of those were against Perth in the bloodbath last week. He only has 4 score involvements before that month that we're talking about. He's a hard player to place. But I guess if he's coming into good form again, like the rest of the Melbourne City team towards the end of the regular season, that's a good thing.
It absolutely is a good thing. City need everything, firing in as many different directions as they can come finals. That's if they make it. They've got a game this week. Depending on the result in the Victory Wanderers game, they may not need to do a single thing on Sunday afternoon, or they may need a win. The way that the games play out, they'll know exactly what they need to do. A finals appearance is probably a must for City. I think it was a tough season. They got rid of Vidicic rather early. They looked like they were going to miss finals completely. They've come into form at the right time, and it just seems very much like what we talked about on the Dove side of things with Jeff Hopkins' victory, is that he's just seems to have got his side firing at the right time and always does come finals. And it just seems like Aurelio Vidamar has City firing at the right time, and a finals appearance, as I said, it's probably a must. And if someone like Leo Natel is contributing, to the score sheet, that's just only a good thing for City.
Yeah, and they're on a decade-long streak of finals appearances as well. I'm sure they're not keen.
Well, the last time they missed was when they were Melbourne Heart, weren't they?
Yep, haven't missed since takeover from the City Football Group. So pride on the line for the club as well. And then Marcus Eunice, Christian, you mentioned his name, and you were right too as well. A couple of moments of inspiration from all the Western Sydney Wanderers youth was probably the highlight of the game for them. He was on the end of a very lovely long-range assist from Dylan Cicluna as well. Eunice had a couple other chances to win the game late, but he clearly bounced back from what must have been a tough week.
Surely that would have maybe got to him just a tad at least, and then obviously he had a point to prove, and he proved that point. Scored his goal. Like you said, could have perhaps had 1 or 2 more to add to his name, maybe salvage something from this game. But for such a young player like that, I mean, he's going to have his ups and downs. You've spoken about it, like with Yuran Kunda, for example. These players need time to mature. But yeah, he's got a lot of promise, a lot of talent. It's just about nurturing him and making sure he's in that right environment for the future to really develop and kick on.
And then Milos Ninkovic as well. His final home game, 3 championships, 3 premierships, 1 FFA Cup as it was named at the time. And then the individual honours get a little bit better from there too. Johnny Warrens and a Joe Marston medal as well. He came on for a little 15-minute cameo in this game, Paletti, to say goodbye to his home supporters, if you want to call them that. His legacy will probably be diminished a little bit by the Western Sydney Wanderers move, specifically in the eyes of Sydney FC supporters, but he will always be a legend of the league and he will be missed.
Absolutely. One of the best that the league has ever had, especially when you look at the longevity of time that he had in the league and still, maintained his top-class form. Like, I know, a lot of us talk about the likes of Thomas Broich, as probably being the best player to ever play in the A-League men's competition. He didn't last anywhere near as long as what Ninkovic has, and Ninkovic has just kept that quality going. It has dropped off a little bit, at points since his move to the Wanderers, but I think that comes a little bit more with age and the system that is being implemented by Marco Rudin at the Wanderers maybe necessarily hasn't allowed him to flourish the way he did at Sydney FC. I think legend is perfectly fine word to use. Is he the best ever? I think the fact that his time at the Wanderers is going to reflect a slight decline in quality. But if he, when his Sydney FC contract was up, if he retires then, I think you could very easily make the case as the best player to play in the A-League men's competition by far.
I think regardless of what happens with the Wanderers, I know he's been on a bit of a decline since, as well as the club. They haven't performed at their sort of full potential. But I just think as a whole, I mean, whether his form diminished or not, I think you just take it as a whole, his time at Sydney FC, and there's a really good case to argue that he is the best player that we've seen in this league, to be fair, with especially the amount of time he has spent here. We just got to appreciate, the time he's been here, the quality he's brought to this league. And, in a few years' time, we'll look back and say just how fortunate or lucky we were to have a player that quality and caliber, in our league.